Hello friends and welcome to the first grade YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about what happens when you plant a seed. We're going to be doing a couple of things. First, we're going to read a story called From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. Then we'll be talking about some vocabulary and doing some writing on our book. Then we'll be doing one of the activities from the packet that you got at school called Start a Seed. So I'll show you how you can start a seed so that you can grow a plant. All right, let's go ahead and read our story called From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. I want you to be thinking about what the author is telling us throughout this story and thinking about the steps it takes for a seed to be made inside of a plant. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. What is the main idea of this story? Think about that. What would the story be about called From Seed to Plant? I want you to be thinking about that as we read. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. The author is telling us that all seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So that means that if a sunflower seed is planted, it's going to grow into a sunflower. So if I planted a bean seed, what would a bean seed grow into? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. What would a bean seed grow into? I think you're right. I think if we planted a bean seed, it would grow into a bean plant. Great job. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. A flower is made up of many parts. And you can see over here where I have made my own parts of a flower, just like this one in the story. And there's some different parts that are going to help the plant to make seeds. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen, there's the pollen right there, must, from the stamen, here's our stamen, so a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on top of the stigma. Right here, must land on top of the stigma at the top of the pistil, right here, from the flower like itself. This is called pollination. So what is pollination? Pollination is when some pollen lands on top of the stamens and goes on top of the stigma, which is on top of the pistil, and that's how pollination happens. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. So the wind blows the pollen from flower to flower. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too, while they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar. Pollen rubs onto their bodies. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. There's its pistil with the stigma on top. So the bees will land on it, the hummingbirds will land on it, and the pollen that's on their bodies will then be put on top of the pistil on the stigma. So how is it that pollen can get carried from flower to flower? What are some of the ways? Can you think of one way? I'll give you a second to think about it. What did the book tell us? What evidence from our text told us a way that the pollen can be carried from flower to flower? One way is by the wind. You're right. Can you think of any other ways? It can go by bees. or by hummingbirds. Great job. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an oval, which are down here. This is the beginning of a seed. So that pollen goes down the pistil and gets into an oval, and that's where the seeds begin. The seeds grow inside the flower, even as the flower begins to die. A fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. So there's the fruit or pod, and it protects the seeds. The seeds are inside it. So where are the seeds protected? Let's look back. Inside the pod or the fruit. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Do you see how they break open? And the seeds can sometimes fall to the ground around the base of the plant, where they will grow. They just fall right out. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes the birds eat berries. They drop the seeds. See the birds? Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to the dirt along the shore. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. I found some of those seeds when I went looking for seeds outside. One was from a tree, and this is the ones that kind of spin as they fall. And I also found some dandelion seeds that are like the fluff that go like parachutes to the ground. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later, they drop off into the ground. The story, the author told us a lot of ways that seeds can be scattered. Can you think of one way that seeds can be scattered? One way is by animals. Animals can bury seeds, or they can get seeds stuck to their fur and drop off later on. That's one way. Can you think of any more ways? The wind can also scatter the seeds. Good work. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the garden. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plant. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. You can see the beginning of the plant inside the seed. Food all around inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. That's the outside kind of like skin layer around the edge of the seed. It protects the seed. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. So it needs to be in soil. So we need soil for a seed to grow. Then it needs rain, so we need water for a seed to grow. So we need soil and water. Then it needs that to soften that seed coat. Then when the sun shines, so we need sunlight, warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. So what is germination? Germination is when the sun shines, warms the ground, and the seed coat breaks open, and the seed begins to grow. And if you look up here, you can see the seed is planted into the soil. Then the rain comes, and it softens that seed coat, and it breaks open, and that's when it germinates. It has its tiny sprout come up from the top, and roots from the bottom. Then the sprout goes all the way out of the ground to go towards the sunlight. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot toward the sun. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight, and the air all around the plant. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are all full of nutrition, vitamins, and minerals, and they are tasty too. I hope you enjoyed our book, From Seed to Plant. Remember, I told you when we started reading that you were to be thinking about what is this story mostly or mainly about, or the main idea. Think about what you would think this story is mostly or mainly about. I think you're right. I think it's mostly or mainly about what happens when you plant a seed and how seeds are made. Great job. So let's talk about what happens when you plant a seed. What is the first thing that you have to do when you plant a seed? Let's use our question. What happens when you plant a seed? I'm going to write that topic sentence, the first sentence of our explanation. When you plant a seed, I just used the words from our question. When you plant a seed, it must germinate to grow. Let's think about that word germinate. Let's clap it out and make it into parts. What do you hear? I hear G-E-R. There's our Ger. I hear an M. Min. I hear that word in that I know. Min. 8. A-T-E. When you plant a seed, it must germinate to grow. How would a plant germinate? You must plant it in the soil. It needs water to soak in and make that seed coat break open, and then the flower or the plant grows up towards the sun. Great job. You did a great job listening today and answering those questions. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our packet and we're going to start a seed of our own. Now, yesterday, I went outside and I looked all around and I found some seeds. First, I found those seeds that I showed you from the tree, the little helicopters that spin around, kind of looks like a little helicopter propeller. And I also got some seeds from my dandelion. And I found some legumes, which are kind of like peas or beans, and I found them in my pantry. And so I soaked some of them in water to help loosen that seed coat so that I can start that seed so I can plant it and see if I can grow a plant. Now, the first thing you're going to need that you'll see on your STEAM packet is you're going to need a wet washcloth. So you're going to take that washcloth, get it wet in the sink, wring it out so that it's not dripping, and then you're going to lay it folded like this, okay? Then you're going to take some of your seeds. I'm going to take some of my legume or bean seeds, and I'm going to lay it on top of my wet washcloth. I'm also going to put in some of my dandelion seeds here, and I'm going to put them on top too. I'm also going to see if I can use one of my helicopter seeds from the tree, and I'm going to put those two in there. And then all you're going to do is you're going to fold it up like that. You're going to fold it up. You're going to need a baggie like this, and you're going to put the folded up washcloth inside the baggie, just like this. Slide it in, and you're going to close. Every day, you're going to take the washcloth out of your baggie and look at them. And on your drawing journal that you got in your packet, you're going to draw a picture of what you see. Okay? You're going to do this for 7 days. 7 days is 1 week. So you can do that for 7 days. And then after the 7th day, you're going to take your seed out and you're going to get a cup, either a plastic cup or a paper cup, and you're going to put some dirt in it. You can get the dirt from outside, or if you have some dirt in a bag from your garden, you can use that as well. And you're going to put your seed down in 1/4 of an inch, so just about this far down in, only a little bit ways down in the dirt. And then you're going to cover it over with the dirt, and you're going to give it just a little bit of water. Not too much, because you don't want to overwater it. If you don't have a baggie, you can also just keep wetting your washcloth every day, just a little bit, not too much, because you don't want too much water and drown it. All right, so you did a great job today. Don't forget, you're going to use your packet. You're going to look at your seeds every day for 7 days. Then you're going to plant them in your cup and see if you can make your seed grow, like what we learned about in our story today. I hope to see you again soon. Keep coming back to our YouTube channel to see the next lesson for the week. Goodbye.